What's up, ladies and gentlemen? What's going on? What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's Cdl4less Irvin here with another pre-trip. I got the Maryland State passenger endorsement bus pre-trip. I'm gonna go ahead and start that off. They do give you a check sheet in Maryland, so it's a lot easier to do your pre-trip. That checklist that they give you still the same amount of time, 45 minutes to complete it, but now you literally have half the parts taken out, and you're just going through that checklist and making sure that you inspect it the correct way, point it out, and say exactly what you're looking for. All right, so we're gonna start with this Maryland pre-trip. All right, we start with start. All right, so the safe start is when we turn our key over one click and see our dash light up and the gauges kind of wave at you. We want to wait till all these lights, ABS light and everything goes out, which it did. The parking light is still on because we are in park. So our pressure should be below 90 pounds of pressure. So what we want to do is start that engine up and build that pressure to 120 PSI so that we can hear that governor cut out. Once we hear that sound, we know we have 120 and we can perform the first maneuver, which will be your air brake. All right, your air brake check. You want to check your air leaks and then also do your fan down to make sure that the warning devices work and also make sure that that parking valve works. All right, so the wheels will already be chalked. If you come here at Cdl4less, we chalk the wheels for you. We also drop the pressure for you. So your job is to do that safe start, build it up to 120 PSI. So we'll bring that RPMs up between 12 and 15. All right, between 12 and 15, no more than 20. Excuse me, not 12, but 15 and 20, I'm sorry. So no more than 20 PSI. If you're going over 20, you're over revving the engine. Don't have to worry about that. All right, so our governor just went out. So now we want to do the most important steps to the air brake test. These three key steps are what can make or break your test. So the first step that you want to perform is, say it out loud, turn the engine off. Turn my key off. I want to turn it back to the on position. That's step number 2. And step number 3, we want to make sure we pushing that parking valve. Release the brakes. So first step, key off. Second step, key on. Third step, release the brake. Say it out loud. You miss one of those steps, you will fail your test. All right, so now that we release the brakes, key is off, and back in the on position, we want to tell the tester, if you don't mind, please timing me for 1 minute. 1 minute, I'm going to step on my service brake and make sure that I don't lose more than 3 pounds of pressure or PSI within that minute hold. Can you please time me? And that tester, test instructor, Miss or Mr., they will say, all right, sir or ma'am, are you ready? You say yes. They'll say your time will start now. All right, as soon as they say that, you push down on that brake. When you push down on that brake, you don't have to push it all the way to the floor. You don't have to do that. You'll be in here shaking your leg, trying to hold that brake down for a minute. It gets a little tough. All right, so just lightly push down on it. You don't have to use a lot of force, and just watch your gauges here. You'll see that they settle right around 90. They should not move any more than that. All right, so they'll initially drop once you push on that brake pedal, but they'll settle around 90, and you just wait there for that minute. All right, so once that test instructor says, all right, sir, ma'am, your minute is now up, you can release your brakes. You slowly release and let them know that you did not lose more than 3 PSI within that 1 minute. After that, you'll tell them that you'll continue to fan your brakes down to approximately 60 pounds of pressure, where your warning indicator should come on and you'll see the red lights, and that's letting you know you have low pressure. So after you explain, you go ahead and fan your brakes down until we get to 60 pounds of pressure. All right, so now that we are at 60, the warning lights came on, letting us know we have low pressure. We're now going to fan down below 40 pounds of pressure, and that spring parking valve should pop out. So after we explain that, we go ahead and fan down and watch this parking valve pop out. All right, so it just popped out. That means our air brake is properly functioning completely. We didn't have a leak, and our devices are functioning right. Parking devices and warning lights, they are working and functioning properly. So now at this point, we're going to start the engine right back up to rebuild the 120. All right, to 120, we're going to perform the parking tug test. All right, but before we do that, we're going to go through the rest of our checklist. The rest of the checklist will be your service brake check. So we'll let that build up to 120 on its own so we can explain the service brake check. Service brake is if we put our vehicle in drive no more than 5 miles an hour straight ahead. When applying the brakes, the vehicle should not pull to the right or to the left. If it does pull to the right or to the left, that indicates that you have a suspension issue on either side or a low pressure tire issue on either side. You want to put that vehicle out of service and get it checked. All right, other than that, we'll go to the next on the checklist, which will be your light indicators. You want to make sure your left signal works, right signal works, your high beams work, your hazard lights work, and also your headlights. That letter P with the light bulb over top, make sure the headlights work. Low beams working. All right, then next will be your emergency equipment, which will be your ABC fire extinguisher. You know it's fully charged because that needle was in the green. All right, and then we also have the 3 reflective triangles in the box and the spare flares. All right, and we also have spare fuses in the little pouch right there. All right, so from that point on, we want to check our windshield itself. The windshield itself has no illegal stickers or obstructions blocking our vision. Make sure it is properly sealed all the way around, securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts, not cracked or damaged. Check out traffic monitor devices, which would be the mirrors on both sides. Make sure that we let the tester know mirrors are adjusted for my sight, and they are connected to the bracket connected to the bus. No chipped or broken glass. They're securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts, not cracked or damaged. And from there, we check our wipers and washer fluid. Make sure that we show that we have wipers and washer fluid, and make sure that the windshield wiper blades are connected flush to the windshield. Blades connect to the arm connect to the truck, securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts, not cracked or damaged, and that blade is a rubber, so it's not dry rotted or frayed as well. And we also have adequate fluid, washer fluid in there as well. All right, then we'll check our heat and defrosters. So we'll come over and hit the heat and defrost fans, fill up top, fill down bottom, properly works. We can turn those off. And then we'll check the horn. Horn properly works. And from that way, we'll go down to our passenger entryway. So the passenger entryway, you want to check your steps. You can actually step down. You want to check your steps, make sure that it is evenly grooved. All right. And we want to make sure that they're securely mounted, not cracked or damaged. Also checking the emergency handrails. Your handrails on both sides, make sure that they're securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts, not cracked or damaged there as well. Check out interior lights on the steps, make sure they're clean and clear, secure, not cracked or damaged, not missing nuts or bolts. All right, and from there, we'll check the inside of the cab, checking all passenger seats. You want to fill down bottom, fill up top, fill down bottom on both ends, fill up top on both ends, down bottom on all our seats as we come back. Checking all of them, make sure they're securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts, not cracked or damaged. Check out emergency exits. That'll be the back door exit. Make sure it opens and closes freely. Make sure it's properly sealed, no broken glass, securely mounted, not cracked or damaged. Check the emergency window exits. You'll flip open the red switch and just tell the tester that you will actually push the windshields out to make sure that they all properly work. And we'll check all of the 4 emergency windows the same exact way. Then we'll check our emergency hatch right here. We lift up, make sure it opens and closes freely. It does. And from there, we'll go on to the next step. Next step will be the passenger monitor device, which will be your mirrors for the passenger. Make sure it's adjusted for your sight. Make sure it is securely mounted to the bracket secure to the bus. No broken or chipped glass. Securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts, not cracked or damaged. All right, and then from there, we can then do the external light check. The external light check is where you basically tell the tester if they don't mind checking the buddy system and stepping outside the vehicle, going to the front of the bus as well as the back of the bus and checking all of your light indicators. So what they'll do is step out front. Once you go out front, you start turning all your light indicators on, left, right signal, high beams, hazards, as well as the low beams. Same thing with the back of the bus. They'll go to the back of the bus. Each time you hit a light, they'll give you a thumbs up. Same thing for the back of the bus, left, right signal, hazard lights, apply the brakes, and also put it in reverse. That'll show them that reverse is working as well. It'll give you the thumbs up in the mirror on your driver's side every time you hit those lights in the back. All right, from that point on, we'll then turn our engine to the off position. Before we go to the off position, we still got to do that parking tug test. We drop to a low gear. Brake is already applied. We tap on that gas, the brake held, it did not move. So from that point on, we can then turn the engine off and go to the front of the bus. All right, so the front of the bus, we are going to check everything on the front lenses. Me personally, I like to unlatch the hood before doing so So when we come to the front of the bus, we tell them as we approach the bus, we want to make sure the bus is leaning to the left or right, which can indicate a suspension issue and or flat tire. We also want to check underneath the bus for any puddles, make sure there's no leak or hanging wires. Check up top for our clearance lights, the headlights and turn signal lights on both sides, making sure they're all proper color, which is amber in color outside of the headlights, which are clean and clear, securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts, not cracked or damaged. From that point on, we pop the hood open. Just pull that hood back open. Go to your driver's side. Then on this side is where we check all fluid levels. So me personally, I like to put a lot of parts together so it flows a lot freely, a lot easier, and it's not killing all your clock. So we'll say all connecting hoses, wires, as well as the reservoirs that hold fluid on this side of the engine are all securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts, not CDL, not commercial driver license, but CDL is for crack, damage, and leaks. All right, that's an abbreviation. So if you can remember that, or if you can't remember it, look at the top or the side of the vehicle. It's all along the side, back and top. CDLs, crack, damage, and leaks. All right. So we want to check the coolant. Check the coolant reservoir through the sight glass. Make sure it reads between add and full. If we need to add any fluid to any reservoir that holds fluid, you always wait till the engine is off and cool before doing so. All right. And we also make sure, once again, that everything is securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts, not CDLs, crack, damage, or leaking. We go to our power steering, oil, and transmission. We'll do them all the same way, pulling out the dipsticks for each one, wiping them clean, reinsert them, pull them back out, make sure they read between add and fill. And if we actually need to add, once again, we wait till the engine is off and cool before doing so. After that, we make sure that we don't hear any physical air leaks or see any physical fluid leaks. We'll then check the steering system, which consists of our steering gearbox, our pitman arm, drag link, the tie rod on the back, and the castle nuts and Carter keys on both sides. Castle nuts, Carter keys on both sides. Make sure all of those parts securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. All right, and then from there we go to our tires. The tread depth on the tires on the front tire, we check with a tread gauge to read 430 seconds. No recaps allowed. But on the back tire, they are 230 seconds. Recaps are allowed. All right, we check the inside and outside tire wall. Make sure there's no cuts, bulges, or abrasions. And we also want to check our valve stem and cap. Make sure that's present, securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts, not cracked, damaged, or leaking any air. If we need to check our air, we put a valve air gauge onto the valve stem, and it should read 80 to 100 pounds of pressure. All right, from there we check our rims. Make sure the rim have no illegal welds, securely mounted, no missing nuts or bolts, not cracked, damaged, or leaking. Check the lug nuts. Make sure they have no rust trails leading away from any of them. Make sure there's no shiny threads, which indicates loose lug nuts. Make sure they're all present, they're all tightened, securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts, not cracked or damaged. And from there we check our springs and shock absorbers. So you want to check the leaf spring here. All right, that long bar going all the way back is your leaf spring. Shouldn't be shifted or missing. Leaf spring front and rear mount. U-bolts are all secure, no cracks, damage, no missing nuts or bolts. And shock absorber, top and bottom, securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts, not cracked, damage, or leaking any fluid out of that shock absorber. Then we check our brake hose and lines for any leaks. This brake line and hose, securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts, not cracked, damage, or leaking. And then we check our brake drum for contaminants such as oil or grease. It is free of contaminants such as oil or grease and securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts, not cracked or damaged. From there, we'll check the side lenses, which will be all of the marker lights up top. Marker light 1, you got marker light 2 and 3 way in the back. So they're amber to the front and red to the rear. And then you have your turn signal light here, which is also amber in color. And then we check out traffic monitor devices on the outside. The mirrors connect to the bracket connected to the bus. No chipped or cracked glass. They're securely mounted, no missing nuts or bolts, not cracked or damaged. All right, and then from there, we check the battery compartment. Battery compartment is here. Open that battery compartment. Check the battery compartment. Make sure that the battery is securely mounted, not missing nuts or bolts, not cracked, damaged, or leaking battery fluid, and no excessive corrosion around the connection lines. All right. And from there, we get to go over to our fuel tank on the opposite side of the bus. And while we're going over there, I'm gonna shut this hood. All right, shut the hood and latch it down. Just put those two right up under there. Latch it down. And put these two right underneath here. Latch it down. All right, we check our fuel tank on this side. Pop open the latch. So the fuel tank, all right, we want to check the fuel straps, the fuel cap, the few electric lines and hoses, and the fuel tank itself. Make sure they're all securely mounted, no missing nuts or bolts, not cracked, damaged, and or leaking. All right, the straps show no shininess, which indicates loose straps, and the hoses and wires in the back are not dry rotted, melted, or frayed. Inside the cap has a chain and a rubber seal to prevent leaks and to prevent you from losing that cap. Close that up. Check our frame underneath. Frame and the cross members are securely mounted, no missing nuts or bolts, not cracked, damaged, and also no illegal welds. All right, and from there is the rear lenses and reflectors, the last part of the test. All right, so you want to check all lenses, clearance lenses up top, turn signal, which are amber in color. The clearance lenses, brake lights, reflectors are all red in color, proper color, and clean and clear for our reverse lenses. They're all securely mounted, no missing nuts and bolts, not cracked, damaged, and or leaking. All right, free of condensation. All right, so from there, your Merlin updated pre-trip for your passenger endorsement. As you see, it's not a lot, it's very easy, and they actually give you a check sheet. That check sheet that they give you at the MVA is very, very, very easy to follow. Just follow those and make sure that you give the proper terms, and tell them what you're checking as you check it. Make sure everything is securely mounted, no missing nuts or bolts. Remember, CDLs, no crack, damages, or leaks. All right. Once again, this is Irvin signing out with another pre-trip. Hope you all enjoy. If you get a chance, go follow my Instagram page, Cdl4less, Irvin, IRVIN, Cdl4less. Irvin, like it's on this bus, Cdl4less, and then my name, Irvin, IRVIN, on Instagram. All right, for more information, check out our website also at Cdl4less. Everything is up on there. You can go ahead and call that number on the side as well and set that up and get your classes started with Rick. All right, appreciate you guys. I'm signing out.